Hey everyone, welcome to Resellers Roundtable episode number 8, Crushing the Competition. This should be a really fun show. We got a new face here in the crowd. We've got the typical panel. We also have Tyler. He's back. That's gonna be awesome, man. I'm really excited for the show. And if you're new to this channel, pretty much, we talk about reselling, we talk about picking, we talk about making money on eBay, Amazon, e-commerce, the whole 9 yards. And first off, let's get to know everybody here and let's talk about how things have been going recently. For me, just been really busy. eBay really kicked up a notch over this past weekend for me, so that's always great. Let me pause this here. So that was awesome. By the way, Google changed their format here, if you're looking at this. But yeah, sales have picked up on eBay. I was pretty stoked about that. Etsy's been doing pretty well. Amazon's is rocking and rolling. So it's pretty much just it's the struggle. It's just keep listing stuff, keep going, keep staying positive, keep moving forward. But yeah, let's move down the line here. So Tyler, dude, what's new? What's exciting with you, man? How's life in Michigan?
Doing really well. I was able to get approved in clothing, watches, and shoes this week on Amazon, so that's really exciting. And looking forward to expanding to my clothing business on Amazon now.
That's awesome, man. So who did you use for ungating? Did you do it yourself or?
I had a few people that I was asking questions from, and then Brandon. I asked him a few questions and stuff like that, and I had just a few corrections that they had for me to fix, and that was good. It was just little stuff that I just didn't even think about. And then for like the watches thing, I filled out the application. I didn't know you didn't have to do a flat file, and they called me like 4 minutes after I submitted the application, told me over the phone that I was approved. So that was really cool.
Nice. So what's your game plan here? What's your tack here with the clothing? I know you've got some experience definitely selling used clothing and kind of like the new clothing too. I know we haven't talked to you much about that, but are you seeing yourself going after the men's clothing, kids clothing, women's clothing on Amazon? What's your thoughts?
I'm gonna mainly I do men's right now, but then I want to expand into women's and then kids clothing. Eventually, I just got to do a little more research before I start throwing some serious money at it. I've done a little bit here and there, but I want to definitely expand it some more than what I have been doing, because with the fourth quarter and stuff coming up, it wouldn't be good to just not have anything out there. I got to get something for those categories.
Heck yeah, people are wondering about your plush, dude. Did you get them all to Amazon, or they just piled up in a freaking corner?
I've been going through them. Looks like it's gonna be pretty profitable. I got some bags coming in that have the suffocation label and stuff on it and everything to get those sent in, because most of them are smaller. So that's what I'm gonna be working on the rest of this week, and hopefully have that shipment done within the next few days to a week. So.
Sweet. How's sales overall going for you the past week? Slow, fast, medium?
Great. It's starting to pick up. Especially I'm starting to notice now a lot of people are starting to do their back to school shopping. And it's just I've been selling a lot of my new stuff on my eBay store, so it's just been flying off the shelves. So it's been going really well.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have to do another show one of these nights with you, Tyler, about the new tag stuff, or maybe we'll keep that private. I don't know. All right, so awesome, Tyler. That's good to hear for sure. We got Scott in the house from Indiana wearing a Blackhawks hat, dude. What's new? What's exciting, man? What's going on?
Nothing, man. It's sales have been really picking up on Amazon. It's just this back to school stuff. I know my kids go back to school next Tuesday. So I know it's a lot of people around the country that's trying to get these last minute things in. It's a lot. I've noticed a significant increase in sales since Prime Day, and I'm liking it. I'm loving it. It's awesome.
Heck yeah, dude. I mean, my kids just went to school. Today was their first day, and I've been selling some school supplies and doing all types of stuff. I know you mentioned to me in a hangout, I think it was last week, Scott, you bought all of your school supply stuff and clothes all online.
Yeah, this is the first year we did that. We did all of the shopping online, all the school supplies, all the school uniforms, shoes, underwear, socks, the whole nine. We did it all online this year. And I think a lot more people are going toward that. It's just easier than fighting the crowds at Walmart, you know what I'm saying? Just one click and it's at your house in 3 days. So.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the Walmartians, man. You ever see some of those people in Walmart, dude?
Back to school shopping is getting as bad as going shopping on Black Friday sometimes.
Yeah, right. So how's your sales been, man? I mean, you know, you've been trucking along. I mean, I know at one point you were kind of like, oh, the hell with eBay and clothing. Are you still dabbling in eBay anymore? Is it just mostly Amazon or?
That was my one of my New Year's resolutions is to slowly move away from eBay. I mean, I still when I go to thrift stores, I'm still looking for those items I know that I can get a quick flip on. You know, the jerseys and the vintage T-shirts. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to run no 500,000 item clothing store anymore. I can't. I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, but if I see something that's worth some money, I'm picking it up. You know.
Yeah. What would you say your biggest reason why you don't want to have a 5,000 item eBay store?
It's the time. To me, it was like I remember we talked about it one night. It's like if you a one-man job and it feel like you're just a slave to eBay. You know, it's just constantly work. You know, it's like I'm doing this so I can, you know, work less and, you know, do other things I want to do more instead of, you know, when you have a huge eBay store, it consumes you. I don't care what anybody says. It just consumes you. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much going on, especially if you're a one-man operation. Yeah. And the reason I got into doing this, you know, is to have more free time, and to, you know, be with my family and do other things I enjoy doing. And just if you have, I mean, that's just me. I don't know. I know it's probably gonna be people say, well, I got 5,000 items and only work 20 hours a week. I couldn't do it. When I had 1,000 items in my store, it felt like I was working 80 hours a week. You know, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's not for everybody. And everybody's at different levels, and everybody has their different time, what their time is worth. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, man. I mean, as long as you're making money, it's all good for sure. So awesome to hear, Scott. We got the band hammer in the house, Mr. Mike Nagle, Mr. Smackdown. What's going on with you, Mike?
Nothing. You know, I've just been working really hard. I've been really lax on the eBay listings the last week because I haven't been feeling well. So, you know, since before. So I've been trying to get my rest schedule back to normal a little bit and starting to sleep again like a mortal human being. You know, you can only be invincible for so long. But, yeah, I've been really lax on the eBay stuff. So I have a ton of stuff I'm going to be working on tonight. I've only sold a couple items so far in the last 3 days, so off to kind of a slow start on eBay. But, you know, I finished up really strong at the end of the month. I sold a bunch of stuff last week that got all shipped out, and, you know, I'm happy about it. And then Amazon has been kicking into high gear since Prime Day. I sold not one thing on Prime Day. Zero. Zilch. Goose egg. And since then, it's been at least 3 items every day since. So I've been really happy with the results from Amazon. My dog obviously is better because she's barking again, and you know, I've been selling stuff on Etsy. So you know, I've been having my ups and downs, but you know, generally all positive right now.
That's awesome, dude. So where's your focus now? I mean, it's August, guys. I mean, 4 more months and it's the end of the year. Mike, what's your focus now? Are you going to be focusing on mostly Amazon, a little bit of thrifting? Where do you see yourself in the next 4 months?
Q4 is one of those weird enigmas because not only do I sell a lot on Amazon for Christmas, but my vintage stuff, especially my wrestling stuff, my sports stuff, all sells really fast during Q4. And I'm going to try and bust my ass and get all these listings done for eBay and get them up. I have 500 listings up right now. I'm going to shoot to have 1,000 up by the end of the month. But, I mean, the majority of my time, once August is over, Amazon the rest of the year.
Cool. Awesome, yeah. So I'm really thrilled here to have somebody who's also a member of the Resellers Roundtable Facebook group, which is a free Facebook group. You can check it out, Resellers Roundtable. It's really neat to have him here because we've been talking behind the scenes, and it's just things haven't been working out. We finally got him on here, so I'm really excited, and I'm really excited to hear his story and share it with everybody that's watching live and everybody that's watching the replays for sure. We got Arthur in the house. Arthur, man, what's going on with you? And can you kind of give everybody just kind of just a bio on yourself, dude? I mean, what do you do? Where do you live? What's going on?
Well, I'm in New York City. I live in Queens. I've been reselling actively for about 4 years, and this really started with storage auctions. I did it while having a full-time job for 2 years, and then when I got laid off and got a package, I said yes, thank God, and I just went full-time, full throttle. Because for already like a year, I was pretty much running a full-time business while holding down a full-time job, so that was pretty insane. Um, and that's basically it. I do have some experience with reselling before that, like minor. Like I knew about eBay. I was active, a little bit active on it, like back in 2000. I think I was ironically was trying to sell some video games I was picking up for a manufacturer. And then ever since I found Craigslist, when trying to find a place to live in New York City, I've always, whenever I had a chance, I'd buy something at Craigslist or sell something at Craigslist. And do very small garage sale picking before that. Just kind of, it was interesting, it was intriguing. And I've sold stuff on Amazon actually just from around the house, or just extra stuff like an extra graphics card that I had. Because I did start early with Amazon, I get daily disbursements. So I've actually been very, very happy about that, because I know they made the change not too long after I signed up and was selling stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Arthur,
sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, but the real core of actual reselling, getting into the product, getting stuff like 4 years ago, and increasing steadily with the second year. Then the last 2 years are obviously full time. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think what's really exciting about tonight is that we're going to kind of dig into Arthur's mind here about storage auctions. And there was hype about storage auctions first on YouTube, then the TV shows, and then now it's kind of like nobody ever talks about it. So I'm really excited that all of us can kind of pick Arthur's brain and stuff like that in terms of storage auction. And some of you guys in the chat for sure ask questions, but let me give you my synopsis on what I've done with storage auctions. So 5-6 years ago, I used to buy them. I'd maybe buy 1 a week, then 2 a week, and I think I maxed out at about 3 a week. And I was basically buying them, and I was taking the goods that were of value, and I would sell those on eBay and Amazon. And then I was pretty much then taking the junk, right, or the bigger, heavier stuff, selling on Craigslist locally, doing flea markets with that, and it was competitive for sure. Don't get me wrong, it was competitive. This was back when I lived in Chicago. I've only bought 2 storage units since I came out here to Phoenix, so it was kind of a different vibe out here. But I used to remember going in Chicago in the middle of the winter, and I mean it's freezing, like -10, and buying units, and I'd get them for $100. I mean, this was during the peak of wars and all that. Arthur, can you talk to us about is storage auctions dead, and can you make money on them?
Of course you can make money on them. I mean, the people wouldn't be doing it if they couldn't. I actually came out, I learned about them from the shows, like the rest of the newbies. I did a little research, I found some credible sources to learn from on YouTube and I've always had like an approach to it, like, look, it's not a treasure hunt. Well, I mean, I guess it could be a treasure hunt, but you can tell from the shows. Obviously it's very glamorized. Yeah, it's pretty much borderline fake, depending on which show. And I actually thought that it was already too competitive. That was just my nature to think like, well, what are some other ways I can take opportunity with that? Not necessarily buying the units. But I came out, it was 4 months after, I guess, the show's really launched, 4 or 5 months. I ended up buying a room. I was doing my lunch hour. I was like in the rush because I didn't really know what I was doing. I came actually too early to the place with a buddy of mine. He ended up having to leave. I then ran back during lunch hour. I went through like the first 5 units of the auction. I bought one of the rooms. It was a junk room, and then I had to run out. Came back after work. It took me like 3 days to deal with this relatively small unit by today's standard, but after work, and I was like, I saw like, look, but there is stuff in there. There's usually something worth of value in these rooms, but it's not what you're gonna think. It's like just mundane stuff. Then the second auction I went to, this was right in the heat of the shows, and there was only like 5 buyers there. It was early morning. They happened to have a lot of rooms for that facility at the time, which I didn't find out till later. And I bought a room which was actually a jackpot room. It was I got it for $25 because nobody wanted to deal with the curio cabinets, and also because normally there's not that many people there. So, or that many rooms. So it just happened to work out, and the real core of the room where the money was, it was a 1,500 CD collection. Now, this man did not have money. He was a social worker, but his life was basically his daughter and his music, and he was into Latin jazz, Havana jazz. I ended up flipping those CDs really quick, and I was so excited. Look, I flipped the units. I flipped the CDs. I also rented the room, which cost me like another $250 because I had no way of dealing with it, and I still made over 4 times my money or even more. Nowadays, if I had that room, I would have made significantly more money because I think on average his CDs were worth on Amazon, let's say $10 to $15. You know, and let's say 1,000 of those CDs were good. I mean, I think I'd say I'm exaggerating. I think on average they were like $5, which you're going to make on the CDs. And you had 1,500. I guess most of those you would be able to send out. That was at the time. I'm sure right now the market's a little different. But only after I realized, wow, he actually had really good CDs. I mean, and there was no FBA that I was doing that. I was listing merchant fulfilled for $10, $15, $20, $30. You know, but I flipped most of them. I kept like 30, like to test it out because I wasn't really sure what the best way to proceed with this. My thought process was quick flip. And then I realized, wow, there was like $5,000 worth of music in there.
That's amazing. I mean,
it just happened.
Yeah, that's the thing I always liked about the storage units is that, you just sometimes you buy a unit and you get stuff and you're like, oh my god, that was garbage. And sometimes you're like, hey, you know what? I just came across a honey hole of FBA products or CDs or DVDs or video games, and you just never know what you might find in these. Arthur, really quick, man. I know a lot of people that come to this channel, they come for reselling information, they come to learn about making money, and it's usually e-commerce. It's usually eBay, Amazon, Etsy. Can you tell people right now, because we've talked on Facebook lots of times, and a lot of times you're like, hey, Mike, I am freaking busy, dude. I just bought all these units. 2 questions for you really quick, and then we can get the rest of these guys involved. They can ask questions. One is, how many units do you buy a week or per month? And 2, how do you process this stuff? Are you bringing it back to your house? Do you have a warehouse, a garage? How does that work for you? You got a box truck?
Well, how many rooms I buy in a week, it's not consistent. It's actually, I look at it on a monthly basis because I do Major Trail, which is in Manhattan, and we're talking about 3 days of auctions, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The days the first 2 days can run anywhere from, they start at 10 a.m. till 3 o'clock. The last day can run for over 12 hours, and that's not counting travel time to there and back from the city. So, but that's when I do most of my unit buying. I generally try to buy around 10, but it will vary because, for example, I bought 14 rooms this month. Last month, which the auctions are at the end of the month. So, and I already bought some rooms earlier in the month from other facilities that sometimes go to supplement my inventory. So that actually overpowered me. I mean, I was clearing our rooms for about 5 days after and just managing other processing stuff. But I try to aim 10. The thing, it really depends on the size of the room. You can buy one room that'll keep you busy for a month, or just be so overwhelming that you have to deal with it. So it kind of depends the size of rooms that you're buying. In terms of processing and dealing with it, I do have a space that I rent. It's a setup with a garage office and a basement. I try to do most of the sorting on the facility, at least pre-sorted to separate out the garbage, because you're really just always trying to shed garbage or stuff that's not worthwhile because I'm working with a lot of space constraints. And I have a Ford E250 van, which I bought as soon as I went full time when I got laid off and I got the severance package. I right away started looking for a van. I call him, I don't know if this will be offensive. I nickname him Pedro because he works like a Mexican. If I offend anybody, sorry, it's just an inside joke that we do. But yeah, and it's just a work vehicle, even though I use it for other things. But I'm always doing something with merchandise or with the space.
Hey, no bashing. Nobody's bashing Spanish people. I'm half Spanish, half Italian, right? Every Spanish person I know is a hard worker, right? I mean, yes. So you naming your van or your pet or your pillow, or your wife, hey, it doesn't matter, right? People don't get offended. Oh God, now we're freaking Mike's got racist guests on. No, right? But so you process this stuff, you bring it back. We had an interesting conversation before we went live here. You process this stuff here, and then you obviously you got eBay and Amazon going, right, Arthur?
Yeah, eBay, Amazon, Craigslist.
And then you said you kind of have like an open door garage sale, like it's like an in-town flea market. Can you talk about that? I thought it was really interesting.
It's really just a garage. It's a garage sale inside the actual garage, and it's set up with shelving and stuff. And it's really just merchandise I blow out. That it's essentially flea market inventory. You can treat it as garbage, which is going to cost you money, or you can just pass it on and make a little cash flow. It doesn't really pay the bills in terms of what I pay for the space, but it really helps out with the cash moving inventory. It's almost like I want these people to come and just clear out the space so I can put more stuff out. Just to keep the inventory flowing. The money is really made online, Amazon, and really Amazon, eBay is maybe 20% of the business. I also do Craigslist. Then there's other various ways of just monetizing stuff. I mean, I'll keep it as simple as, like, let's say the scrap yard. I have bought a room where I made the money on the scrap, and then there was just leftover stuff that I cared about, which was just stuff for my garage sale. I run a sale twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month, because right now it's the summer, so I try to do it a lot more. And I have a group of regulars that have an email list of about 50 people, and there's a set of group of regular buyers that I pretty much can count on to come, and I put up signs, I put up the ads on Craigslist, but sometimes I just do what I call a pre-sale, and I just email my people, and I'll do it for 3 hours, and just come, they'll buy like $300 worth of stuff, and I'm pretty much sorting it out half the time when they're here. So, it serves a purpose too, because some of my best customers, they're really sending stuff overseas.
Mm-hmm.
South America, the Dominican Republic. I know there's a group of, especially in New York, like Haitian, Jamaican buyers. They're big buyers at the flea markets, where a lot of the other storage auction guys do, and they just buy stuff and send it. They spend more money in shipping than the actual product. But,
yeah, I respect your hustle, dude, with all that, man. I mean, you've built. It sounds like you've got a great network around you, and you got the people that if you get the right stuff in, you can move it to them, and that's fast money. And yeah, you might not be getting top dollar for it, but they're your clients, they're your people, and it's like, here, I hooked you up, man, and they appreciate that. They can go make some money off it for sure. Do any of you guys, let's go down the line here. Tyler, have you ever dabbled in storage auctions, man? And if you have, maybe to kind of talk about your experience with it, and if you have a question for Arthur, we'll go down the line here.
Yeah, I've bought a few units back in college. I bought a couple units. There was a few storage like warehouses that were nearby that had like smaller units that were good for that time. And then I bought a couple, was it last year? I think it was, or a year before, or something like that. I bought this unit that was like owned by like a Knights of Columbus or something like that from their lodge, and it had like some really nice like leather chairs, or like those pleather chairs, and there was a 3-tap kegerator in there, a Jägermeister like dispenser, and a few other things. And I spent $500 on the unit. I over doubled my money on it, but I didn't like from that experience. I mean, it was a good experience, but like just being my like only person working, it was a lot of work for one person doing it. So I've thought about getting back into it, but with everything I got going on right now, I just don't have the time to throw that into the mix. But I am glad that I tried. I think I bought like 5 units total over the course that I was doing it. But I mean, it was fun. I mean, I love going to auctions. You just never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, this is a question for Tyler and Arthur. Are people beating the crap out of each other, screaming and yelling like the TV show?
No.
What do you think, Arthur? Are there people throwing fits? I'm going to kill you. I'm going to strangle you.
All right. I do have, try not to get too long-winded, but here's the thing: the regulars aren't gonna fight physically because the facility's just gonna ban you. They don't want that liability.
Yeah.
So, as much as we sometimes want to do it, we know we can't unless someone really wants to sabotage. But I have seen a video in the Bronx, and he's actually a regular veteran buyer, but he was crazy. Yeah, he started there was a wrestling match outside. He was crying something. They weren't letting him buy units, it was just insane nonsense. But overall, no. In terms of verbal altercations, yes, I have told one guy, I'm gonna choke you out. Yeah, there's a little shoving. Some people don't have they don't have understanding. Yeah, well, they don't have an understanding of personal space. So, there's a couple people I've done altercations with like that. But you just know, like, as much as you may want to get into physical altercation at times, I mean, no matter how cool you are with the facility, I mean, they pretty much have to at least kick you off.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be having that. They don't need that nuisance. So,
yeah.
But it gets verbal. I mean, look, it's not a very adult environment in a way. It's a very unsanitized environment in terms of this is not a corporate workplace.
Yeah.
So the language gets crazy.
People are trying to get in your head there so they can screw with you, so they can take what you're looking at.
Yeah, there's some of that.
There's a lot of psychology.
In a lot of ways. But it depends on the trail, I guess. I mean, the one I frequent the most, it's, we're all regulars. It's overall pretty amicable. It's just it's like high school gym class locker room, It's just the shit talking, the jokes, the comedy. Yeah. Like, I mean, all right, I'll just end it with this little snippet because this last auction trail was so eventful all around. But there was a couple of regulars. One of them's actually on the New York TV show. The legend guy. He's actually serious. He's for real. But he had one of his older buddies who used to come to the trail, show up again, and they're shooting the shit, reminiscing about old times. And at one point, they're getting into the elevator, and Joe's telling this guy, whose name is Carl, like, yeah, but who taught you back in the day? Who taught you back in the day? And Carl goes really loud, I used you like the bitch you are. and this is just loud in the middle of the elevator. Everybody cracks up. They're going, oh, yeah, but this is, it's a lot of it's comedy. Sometimes things get personal. So a lot of times people are getting upset. Why is he bidding on the unit? That's kind of part of the game. But overall, like I said, it's high school. Yeah, it's high school gym class, locker room. That's really what it becomes.
All right, I've got to ask the story because I can't believe nobody even in the chats even asked. Why were you getting ready to choke somebody out? I got to hear the explanation before I move forward.
All right, listen. This guy, I can write a book on what a character this idiot is borderline delusional, but already didn't like him. But I think he was taking too long in a room, and I kind of bumped into him half on purpose. Because we were all trying to look and whatever. He had an attitude, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you want to start something? He's half my size. Not that, but still, he's half my size, and he's nuts. And I told him, I'm going to choke you out. That's pretty much what I told him. Because, it was starting to get like, but I was laughing, too. I knew I kind of antagonized him on purpose. But no, it gets it. That same guy almost got into a fight with the other guy I really don't like, and it's for a reason of someone doesn't understand the respect for personal space, even if you're looking at a unit. Like, and they were yelling at each other like you want to step outside, this and that. And this has been happening sometimes every 3 months with certain people,
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. I mean, it's aggressive. I mean, even at the Goodwill outlets, man, I've seen people try to bite off fingers, and I mean, people are they're aggressive. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, don't say, oh, we're just a bunch of rats trying to find the freaking cheese on the floor. What really you are, but, if you see one big fat rat trying to toy with you, well, you got to freaking break a leg, right, Tyler? But no, back to Tyler really quick. Tyler, you got a question for Arthur about storage units, and then we can go up with Scott, and then we're gonna show some items, guys, here, so... just want to make sure we get all the questions in here before we move on to the next part.
Yeah, one of the questions that I had is, it's one thing like when you go to a thrift store and stuff like that, and you have time to look up stuff, but when you don't really have a whole lot of time in between, when the auctioneer raises the door, I mean, what kind of things do you look for to quickly assess how much you're going to spend on the unit, or what do you think it's worth just right off the bat?
Well, here's what you got to realize is that, I overall have bought a lot of rooms. I bought easily over 300 since I started, because there were months where I was picking up a lot of rooms. What you start to realize most of them, even in an area like Manhattan, or even let's say San Francisco, LA, even like the major urban areas, most of these rooms pretty much have the same amount of type of stuff. It's mostly regular stuff. And if when you really think about it, a lot of regular stuff, let's say school supplies, I mean, it's worth money. So you kind of have, when they open the room, you can kind of take a guess of what is this? Is this a unique room like a collector's room, which is obvious to pretty much anyone, or is this just someone packing their extra stuff? Sometimes it's like baby stuff, which I try not to deal with. But you can kind of tell by the volume how the stuff is stacked, and as long as it's not obvious that it's plain borderline garbage, you can make a guess. Look, I'm looking at about 50% garbage, 50% sellable stuff, maybe 75% garbage, 25% sellable stuff, and you look at it as volume. I mean, this is the way I approach. If you're being very picky, then you are going to look for obvious things that you say, this is worth that much. I'm guessing the rest of the stuff is similar, or you're making similar type of guesses. I take a kind of statistical approach where I sometimes look at a room at a certain area and I say, oh, it's a household. Oh no, oh, this is an apartment's contents, and I know roughly how much that's going to be worth. And obviously, there's some differences where they're buying their stuff, but overall, most of the units, not all, but most of the units fall into this category. This is just people being pack rats. This is their extra stuff. Maybe they got caught up in the move, but it's just, at the end of the day, it's just stuff. And yes, you're going to have your unique items here and there, but I mean, I'll say it this way, an iPod, whatever, an iPhone 4, iPhone 5, they're not antiques or collectibles, but they're worth a good amount of money, and there's lots of them sold. So there's a lot of these consumer items that are all over in these rooms all day long. Books, CDs, stuff like that. So that's how I approach it. Some people do gamble. Some people just straight out gamble. They see one thing, they think this is the treasure. I'm going all out, or I'm going like $2-3 grand on this because I'm gambling that he has this piece of artwork or he has this collectible. That's one way to approach it.
Yeah.
And then there's the obvious, like I mentioned, they open up a big room and it's a contractor guy that put all his stuff in storage and he has power tools and stuff like that. Then it just comes down who can properly identify and is willing to take the risk of how much they'll pay. Because something like that in any area, if it's a good sized room and it's someone's contracted business, you're talking about thousands of dollars of business equipment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then you're just guessing. I know roughly this type of business, or just if you have experience, or you can identify the tools. Like, I'm not an expert in that. Pretty much everybody knows tools are worth money, but that's when it comes down to guys really calculating. This is how much stuff there is.
Gotcha. And one other question I had too is, what do you do when you find like personal effects, like family photos and like documents and stuff like that? Because I've seen some people when they start going through their lockers, they find that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that's the comedy or the sadness too. But you're supposed to return it. These people don't really keep their stuff well, and really most of them, unless they specifically request prior or after the sale, they don't come for their stuff. I mean, and we're talking about boxes of personal papers sometimes. So I just have to dump it out. Very obvious, sensitive items, I'll try to drop off. But most of these facilities at this point, unless they're being really strict, they don't want it. They don't have the room to keep all this stuff. Most of these people never show up. So if it's blatantly obvious personals, and I find them right there, or it's easy to deal with, yeah, I'll make the effort of just returning it to the facility. But it's really not practical when you're buying a lot of rooms because of what really happens. I mean, I've had people wanting contact, I want to come get my personals, and never show up.
Yep.
And I tell them, I have to throw it out if you don't show up. I'm not storing the stuff for you, and they don't, and the facility doesn't want it. Like, you said you're going to show up, and they don't, and I mean, I don't think really there's anything too sensitive in there. Usually, it's just a lot of papers, bills, stuff like that, and you just can't start going through all that.
Yeah, in some states there's different laws for sure on all that.
And
at least you
they're
can
not
just try to give it back
enforced.
Have you ever found anybody's urn in one of your units? Because that happened to one of my friends.
Yes.
Yeah,
I did.
I couldn't believe it, man. Like that just baffles my mind that someone would do that.
And this one was really cheap, and the stuff was just it got scattered, and some got on my hands and shorts.
Oh man.
Yeah, I had to kind of just, the room was a mess. It was a good room, but it was a messy, hard work room, and these people were just a mess all around. All
Oh,
from the
poor Aunt
finances to the stuff.
she ended up on the floor. Sorry. All right, Scott. Scott, have you dabbled into storage units out in Indiana? If you have, maybe talk about that. And also, if you got a question for Arthur about storage units.
Yeah, I looked into like everybody did when the show first came out. It was cool, and it looked like wow, you could really make money doing it. I personally never did it because I mean it just is. I'm a type of person that likes a lot of information before I put money into it. And if you look online, it's not a lot of information, right? And I've heard horror stories. People that I bought $500 for this, and all I got was a dirty mattress and Christmas decorations. You know what I'm saying? No, but I'm the type of person I like to have all the facts before I go in, and it's not a lot of information out there unless you have somebody that could mentor you. You know what I'm saying? Someone you can talk to directly, like, hey, tell me how this goes. Tell me the ins and outs of this business. I don't have a problem with going in. By what we do, we're gamblers at nature. We love to make money. And I love to make money, but I don't want to go in half-ass with it either. But that's just my experience with it. But I do have a question, and it leads into that. Somebody that's new, somebody that wants to expand their business, like how do they go about doing it? Like, how do you find an auction? How do you find some place that's reputable? Do you really need to be with somebody you mentor? You know what I'm saying? It's like, is it a closed, community? Just somebody that's coming off the street, be like, I want to get into storage auctions. What's the first thing they should do?
Well, okay, so I went through that process. I guess as being new, so there's some things you can never get rid of. You do need just a general experience of buying the rooms. You can't get around that. Putting aside getting lucky and all the other crazy things that can happen. I will say I could have figured it all out on my own. I did have a lot of help and information that I started with, but a lot of it was really just reaffirming that this is the process you go through, this is what you figure out. If you're new and you're interested, it's not a clean business in terms of you're not going around picking. You have to get down and dirty and go through all the stuff. So you have to make a decision. Are you willing to dedicate time and effort to that? So if you already have an ongoing business with reselling, you have to, you want to just go out once in a while to the auctions, maybe buy a room. I mean, you can do that, but you're only scratching the surface unless you're just getting lucky. So you have to make a decision. Do you want to do part-time or full-time? Are you all in, or you're just kind of playing it safe? And then depending what you want to do from there, that will kind of determine how you have to proceed. Because then you're dealing with the benefit of storage auctions versus picking. Because I could just dump this, dealing with the rent on the place that I rent, and it goes through my head like at the end of the month here and there. But I can just keep it clean and do picking in that way, just because of all the knowledge that I have that I actually picked up in the last month in the group, as well as just my experience with dealing with so much merchandise. But it's very hard to replicate the volume that you get with storage auctions. So it's really a game of volume, and the real advantage is your infrastructure. It's not really buying the rooms, unless you want to be a gambler and look for treasure. But looking at it from a business sense, the real advantage is from infrastructure. So that's what you have to think about. Am I ready to do all these changes, approach it in this way? I need a vehicle, I need space, I need to go through the process of sorting the stuff. I know I have to throw stuff out. I may need to do a flea market or do garage sales or find another way to get rid of the small marginal items that you come across all the time. That's probably it,
Well, and I have one more question. Now you live in the major metropolitan area of the world, number one. Now, do you
Yes.
think that is a big factor? Do you need to live like in LA, Chicago, New York, or can you live in the middle of Iowa and be successful doing this?
It's where you are makes a big difference. The metropolitan areas in general share the same characteristics. Also, the thing with New York, it's very space cramped. So, well, actually, most of the rooms I look at that I'm interested in are smaller rooms, not big rooms. So you go out, but travel 2-3 hours into, let's say, Long Island, to the burbs or upstate New York. You're dealing with very large rooms. You obviously have to be in proximity of these storage facilities, but I've noticed some people will just even try, like let's say you pick Chicago, people will come from southern states that are south, maybe even travel 15 miles if there's no traffic, and they speed through the highway, and they just try to buy up, and they're coming with vans, trucks, vans and trailers, I know that people do that. They'll come out of the boonies, they pick up a bunch of the stuff, and they go sell it locally, and they deal with smaller expenses. Much harder in New York City because the congestion, the tolls, the gas, and the time. But I've seen people come from out of the state to kind of like, let me come scoop up a bunch of inventory and travel back where I'm at. So I assume you're probably thinking about yourself, like you're not really near any metropolitan areas.
No, I live in the Chicagoland area. I was just wondering, like, I know if I in the Chicago area could probably get more into it, but I was just wondering, like, in general, like if somebody lived in like Iowa or something like that, where they're not by a major city, would do you, because like even when you watch the shows, have the one in Texas, they in Southern California, they're in major metropolitan areas. I just assume that to be successful, you need to have access to. Or that's what I was just wondering if that was true or not.
Well, that show, what they do there is complete a logistical nightmare that makes no sense. I mean, you're not going to travel to random states. You need like a tractor trailer or more. That doesn't make sense. But what I know people do, I guess depending on how the city's positioned, like let's say Atlanta, I'm guessing Seattle too, where it's relatively easy access from the other areas. They would just basically come in for the day of a big auction trail, and they just try to fill up the truck. We had a guy, they have an auction house in Connecticut, and him and his son were trying for a year or two to basically just come in, and they buy up out of these 3 major days that the auctions are, and then they bring in their trucks after and just take it up to the auction house. People do try that plan. I think it makes sense. If you're in the middle of Iowa, I'm sure there's somewhere you can travel. Local area.
I mean, I know, like when I was in the circuit back in the day, you'd see people coming up from the south into Chicago. You'd see people from all over, and they'd bring in trucks, they'd bring in labor, and they were out there looking to buy, and they just didn't have the goods out in bum freaking crack, Alabama or wherever it is, like even here in Phoenix. I mean, I'm outside Phoenix an hour. There's nothing in my direct area here. I have to drive an hour north to Phoenix or an hour into Tucson. There's action in both those areas. A couple of questions here. We'll move on to Mike Nagel, but 2 questions for you, Arthur. One question was from, looks like it was from Jenny Benny. She was asking, where are you at right now? Are you in your house? You're in your basement? Are you in a warehouse?
It's the office.
The office, yeah.
Yeah. I see all the Amazon stuff stacked up. Yeah. Books, CDs, DVDs. Yeah, this is like my second home.
Second home. So you got the second home in there. And then the second question here is, realistically here, right, somebody who wants to get into this game, they're going, okay, we talked about what you kind of do, but how much money do you need? I mean, if you just want to go to your first one, I mean, I know it's subjective because it depends, but, and I'm not here to ask you, well, how much bank you got on you, Arthur, right? You got 10K, man? Are you rolling hard? You know what I mean? But, I mean,
millions.
You can't go walk in, yeah, dude, right? You can't go walk into a storage unit with $5. If you can, let me know where it's at. But
I'm in on that, $5.
Well, you used to be able to, but they've been raising the minimums everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They want like 20. It's been, like, I think
somewhere in New York you can spend $5.
You know what? They would actually. I've got in the room for $1 not too long ago, and I knew there was money in it, but I knew how to dispose of most of the paper quickly. But he was trying to squeeze me for like 10. I'm like, listen, nobody's gonna buy $1. Come on, I got dumping costs. Yeah, that's really. I mean, because you should hypothetically be able to get rooms for $1. But that was normal back in the day. You don't. It's not really about the cost of the rooms, because if you're willing to work, you can make money in this business with work. Not even the money. It's not the capital, because there's a lot of rooms that go up nobody wants to deal with. They're mostly garbage. And the city, New York City area and the boroughs, the mattresses usually bring down the room cost because you need like a license to sell them. They're just a headache to deal with. There's always these rooms that you can get at the starting bid where nobody wants them. You might even be able to get them for free. You're going to have to work. Sometimes you'll find good stuff in there anyway. So you don't really need startup capital from that end. If you just want to play it safe, the minimum amount, you are going to incur costs on traveling, clearing it out, maybe garbage dumps. So you need some standard operating capital, just whether from driving, the tolls, the gas, just the time dealing with it. That's going to kind of affect you. So I wouldn't really look at it like I need a minimum of $1,000 to do. What do you need the $1,000 for? You have to kind of feel out what's going to cost you just operating the business, where you put in the stuff. So if there's guys that have been doing this for like 3 years that refuse to spend. I mean, on rare occasion, this guy will try to bid like $200, but he's like, I want rooms for nothing, $5. I don't want to pay, but he does the work. Sometimes he gets stuff, and sometimes I know from the stuff he gets, I'm like, dude, you think you cleared like $500 to $1,000 in that at the flea market? He still doesn't want to spend money, but he's willing to work and travel and do all this other stuff. So you can, plain and simple, you can make money in this business with nothing but work. It will be hard work. You should work smart, because there's some people that work and they work very dumb, like the guy who I wanted to choke out, and that's going to really hamper you. But if you work smart and you're just willing to work, you're going to make money. I don't think it's that different from if you're picking. If you're willing to bust your ass, wake up at 5 a.m. and hit up garage sales or thrift stores and just get the best, cheapest deals, you can do that. Are you willing to go through that?
Yeah, I think what you said right there is the work, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people might look at that and say, oh, I'll do that. Yeah, go buy one of those big-ass units, and then now it's yours. And you're rolling up with your little freaking Toyota. You know how many trips in that Toyota you're going to have to do? And then what about the freaking garbage that's sitting there? What about the big-ass dressers, right? I mean, trust me, when I first started, that was my mistake, because I said, oh, well, I got this truck. Let's throw it on a pickup. I'll buy it, and it'll be just like the TV show. No, there was nobody there to help me. I looked around, dude, for 2 hours, busting my ass in the middle of the summer in Chicago. I said, dude, this is work. UPS driver work, dude. Like UPS in the back at holiday season. But all right, Mike Nagel, dude. We're kind of running a little late here. Arthur, how are you on time, dude? Are we good to go for another 30, 40 minutes with you, man? I know time's...
Yeah, I'll put in the time. Yeah.
Cool, appreciate it. All right, Mike Nagel. Do you have experience, Mike, with storage units, and do you have any questions for Arthur?
I mean, so here's the deal with me. I've lived in L.A., I've lived in Vegas, both big, popular metropolitan areas. I've seen storage auctions firsthand because, like Scott, I'm not going to jump in and dump a whole ton of money if I don't know what I'm getting myself into. So basically, I would go in and I'd walk and look, before bidding on anything, just look and see what people were looking at and see what I saw and try and get a feel for it. And I never bought anything. I've been to a few. The ones in Vegas are really early, by the way, because you have people driving from LA to Vegas for like these insane auctions. And then I moved here to Central California, and my facility actually just had a huge auction. The facility where I have my stuff had a huge auction. I went, I walked around once again and looked, and just the quality of stuff was terrible in my opinion. People were, dropping like $40, $50 for a room with 2 stand-up lamps and one of those old TVs with the back on it. So it was like, I'm not comfortable dropping any money on these kind of rooms right now. So, I'll probably go to the next one and maybe drop some money on it. But like Mike was saying, it's kind of hard when you're driving a shitty car and it's just you. I got a 2-door convertible, so it's going to be hard to empty a room into that and go back and forth. But No, I think my main question was if you found any ashes in your units. You already answered.
Yeah.
I'm good, man. Like,
All right, I've got one more question for Arthur before we start getting into the items here. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, Arthur, but what would you say your most interesting find was that you've gotten out of a thrift unit? It could have been the most expensive thing you found, or it could just be something interesting, something like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, I found this.
I really have to think about the interesting, but in terms, I might as well combine the one single most expensive item. It was a 6-foot long model ship. When they make those tankers for the Greek shipping mandates, there's a company that makes a commemorative ship of the tanker because they already spent like hundreds of millions of dollars on it, and we found it in the unit. It was the son of the father who originally got it because they were involved in the shipping business. The room was in his ex-wife's name, and when they called her, she said, "Sell the room. I don't care. It's my ex-husband's stuff." He was a millionaire. I think they married for love. And went to auctions at one of the auction houses in the city. They sold for like 10 grand. After fees, it was 8,000. That ended up coming back. So that's, it was interesting just learning about it, understanding that they originally got it for free, but there was a collecting market specifically for that. And in comparison to what some of these other people found in the rooms, it's really not. It's like not even that. Maybe as a single item, it's interesting, but it's definitely not some of the stories that we hear about the veterans that have been doing it for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I know there's something more interesting. I just have to really think about it. I mean, I get involved in the stories of these people sometimes because it's just comedy. It's like social science, so I have to really think about that.
Heck yeah. There was quite Mr. Sadie was saying here, first maybe get into just the standard auctions before you get to storage auctions. Yeah, check it out. See how the auctions, transpire, right? I think storage auctions are a lot different than just a plain old auction, but I think you get the point. Maybe where you say, hey, here's my threshold, and this is the amount that I'm willing to spend. Because if you go to your first auction or your storage auction, you never know how you're going to react, and you'll be like, oh, dude, I want that. I don't care, dude. Next thing you know, you spent 6 hours more than what it was worth. So I agree with Mr. Sadie on that point here. I'm going to show you guys. Let's get into this part of the show here. Before we get into this here, I really appreciate all of you guys watching here. We got over 125 viewers that are watching live here, so really super appreciate that. If you guys like the content here, we always try to do things differently and talk about different things and show different things. And we're just a bunch of resellers here that like to get together and chit chat. So if you could do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button if you do like this, what you're seeing. For sure, that'd be awesome. Let me show you guys this find here, and we'll go down the line and show what we kind of found this week. I was at a garage sale, and I picked this up, and I'll show you my other item here. But I just was sitting there, and I'm like, oh, come on, for real? All right, it's a high roller, just a model kit. It's sealed, right?
that's cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's freaking totally. I mean, it's 1981. I thought this was pretty sweet. Now, here's the thing. I've sold these in the past. Matter of fact, I dealt with a clean out back in Chicago where I was part of a hoarder that had thousands of these, okay? So we bought all of them off the hoarder, and we were running around trying to figure out what to do with these. Well, it came to mind that some of them did really, really well on eBay, and some of them were just worthless. So we took them to the flea market, and within an hour, somebody came in there and offered me money I couldn't pass up on it, so we just sold them all out, right? But ever since then, and that was, gosh, probably 8-9 years ago, I've known all about these models and what these. I don't know everything about them, like I'm a freak, but I know they bring money, and some of them can bring hundreds, 200s, 300s, 400s, and up. And this one here, believe it or not, this high roller one, I think it's easily going to bring me a $100 bill, $80 to $100 bill all day. All right. I'm not going to put this on Amazon. eBay is the way for this, but it was just sitting there. It was just random at this garage sale amongst all this junk. And I'm like, dude, I'm taking it for what it is. And, it's like I said, it's sealed. You can't go wrong with stuff like this. So I'm going to pass it to you, Tyler. We can go down the road here. I got to step out for 1 second. I'll be right back, guys, here. So I'm going to pass it to you, Tyler. What'd you find, Tyler?
Okay. One thing that I actually found today, this is a brand that I haven't seen before, but it's National. Switch it over here. National, and it's a Sanforized like Western shirt, and got like Cowboys and Indians, and it's got some writing on it and stuff like that. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm not sure exactly how old it is. I did do some research on it, but haven't found anything. If you find anything that's Sanforized, that's pretty good stuff. Especially the old Wrangler and Levi jeans denim stuff. It's really good. So I don't know. Have any of you guys seen that brand before?
No, I've never seen it.
Is it a pearl snap shirt?
No, it's just a regular button up.
I haven't seen any national, but that looks really cool though.
Yeah, it's got like the butterfly collar and stuff. So I don't know. It was $4. It was actually just put out today, so we'll see what happens with it. I don't know.
Sweet, very sweet. Mike, what you got?
All right, let me take a look here in the magic bag.
The magic bag.
All right, I guess the first item I'll show, it's nothing too spectacular, but the thing I like about it is that it will sell for me within a week. The Salt Valley Western Pearl Snap shirt, just basic. You know, it's vintage, you can tell because it's so thin. The pearl snaps are really cool. They're like just solid white. They're, you know, you can tell it's high quality. Salt Valley Western, like I said, generally I can list it and it will sell within 2 days. All of them I've put up except for one of them have gone within 2 days, and that other one sold within 2 weeks. And all the ones I find seem to be smalls and mediums, and I paid $4 for it, and I'll still be able to flip it in between 25 and 30, no problem. I mean, it's really cool, especially these vintage ones. People are looking for this. This is probably the hottest brand of pearl snap shirt that I sell, and I mean, I sell a shit ton of pearl snap shirts, so this is probably tops for me, is finding a Salt Valley.
Show that tag, Mike.
What?
Can you show that tag? Like the
$4?
brand tag. What?
What were you asking? I'm sorry.
Show the tag.
The brand tag.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these things go for great money if you can find them.
So how old is that shirt?
I don't know. I'm thinking 80s.
80. Okay.
Generally, I can tell by the feel because the newer Salt Valley Westerns have that newer cotton feel to them, but a lot of them are 50-50s, the older ones. This one's, I think this one's half and half. Let me see. Thing's all knotted up like a pretzel. I can't find it. Here it is. This one's 100% cotton, but a lot of the ones I find are, you know, 50% or 45% cotton, 55% polyester. You know, some weird, you know, percentage. But this thing, you can just tell by the feel that this thing is vintage, and it's so thin. It's awesome. I love these shirts.
Sweet.
What do you have, Scott?
All right. Everybody know football training camp jumped off this week. So, you know, if you got football jersey stuff, you know, like that, and I actually picked this up. It is a vintage champion Kansas City Chiefs Elvis Gerback.
Oh man, you're
old
going back.
School, old school.
Elvis.
It's a size 48. Yep. Wait, let me get the tag up. Size 48. These things from now until the end of the year. I mean, if you find football jerseys, you get them listed. You get what you want for them. People are gonna start buying them, especially teams like the Chiefs. You know, they got a really good following. This is something you don't see every day. You know, and you won't see it. You know, unless somebody get a custom-made Elvis Gerback. So, yeah, go Bears. That's me.
Well, it's cool that it's a champion jersey too.
Oh yeah, so I put 75, 80 on it. see what happens.
Now, how many offers of 20 are you going to have to get before you snap?
Well, at least.
We were talking about this earlier today when it was just you and me, because we were talking about a different jersey and how you got like 6 offers for $20. So
yeah, it usually about the 6-1 is when you actually have to send a mean email. You can only take so many $20 offers before you have to send a mean email. Oh, but yeah, if you got football stuff, get it listed. Anything, T-shirts. If you're approved for clothing in Amazon, get it sent in. You know, because this is the time of year. People, you know, that a brand new Nike jersey is over $100, $150. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of people don't have that money, but they still want the stuff. So get it listed.
Get it listed for sure. Arthur, did you get to show your find, dude?
Yeah, I'll show something I found recently. See if you guys can see this. It's a Walt Disney Standard Character Guidebook. You see the size of this, and it's pretty heavy. It's a binder, and I think it's just like stuff like that. It's actually a reference guide. It's not on Amazon. They don't have a listing for it. So I'm gonna list it on eBay. People are asking all types of prices for it. Some guy was asking like $1,500 for some reason. I think he had the first one. These are numbered. I'll probably put up for $100. But I thought it was pretty interesting. You know, I usually generally go for books, and this one was. I was like, it's pretty interesting. It's, I guess, for people that are really into animation, and this is a style guide or reference guide. I have another item to complement that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Items are fun, man. Let's
Please meet my mistress.
Dude, what is it, like 9 feet tall?
No, 4 feet. 4 foot plush doll and Minnie Mouse. It has a tag on. I actually almost sold this at my sale for like, I was asking $20 and she was like 10 only, and I'm like, no, 20 minimum. I ended up just taking it off once I looked at the tag. I have it listed on the Amazon and Craigslist. It's a slow seller. I've had this for a couple months. But on this brand new, like really brand new, because I had to list this as like new, the price is like $125 on Amazon.
What's holding you back, Arthur, from selling that in FBA?
It's kind of big. I mean, I don't. You know, I've thought about it, but I do have it cross-listed, so it'd be much easier for me to just try to do a local sale. But I might end up having to do it just because it's been sitting longer than I think. It might be because it is a used condition, even though you can clean them, and this thing is pretty much all clean. It's really just shelfware. I think people are a little picky about a plush doll, especially a Minnie Mouse, obviously going for a child.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a little bit more of a sensitive item with the Amazon customers. So, I prefer to sell this for cash. I mean, I almost sold it for $20, and I knew I kind of knew I was probably passing up money anyway, but it's a more sensitive item. But I guess it was her loss. She should have bought it.
Yeah,
it's like $100+ doll. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some plush that just don't meet my standards for Amazon, right, or eBay, where I've got them in a box, and I try to sell them locally, and some do sell pretty well locally. Out here where I'm at, you know, people are always on the cheap. So
I actually just sold a couple of those Build-A-Bears I bought on OfferUp, and I got pretty good money for it. So definitely local for the bigger ones that you don't want to ship in.
Yeah. I mean, I'll ship it myself. I don't have a problem with that, direct to the customer. It's not heavy. You know, I just really think it's because I have to list it as used. But who knows? Maybe it's the season. I'm not really an expert in plush. I mean, I get so many worthless stuffed animals. I start donating them and throwing them out. This one really stood out. I thought it was really cool too.
Disney ones do really well.
Yeah, it might be season. I figure in the fourth quarter we'll definitely sell because it's a great present.
I could see some dad just going in there on Amazon or something, just ordering it right for his daughter, you know. And I mean, God, that's cute. I mean, you know.
All
right, cool. Yeah, right. All right,
Hey,
so
can I say something?
yep.
So I'm looking at the chat right now, and thank you for everybody being supportive. But you know, guys, there's some shenanigans going on, and when shenanigans come out, so does the band hammer. So please be respectful, or I will be dropping this on somebody tonight, and I may drop another pipe bomb to go with it. So let's keep it clean, let's keep it fun, and let's keep it respectful. Thank you.
It's just a sign of success that you have haters and trolls. That's all.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. We try to move. We're trying to do other things here. We're talking about reselling. We're talking about storage units, and it is what it is. All right, so let's get into this here. Actually, we've been hammering out. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. We got our 10 more minutes left, and I hate to say this for the people that commented earlier. I've got a stack of questions. I mean, I got a stack of questions. So I think what we're going to end up doing here is maybe later this week we're going to have another show. Maybe I don't know when it'll be. We'll post it around, but I really want to get these questions. It's just, you know, I don't want. We got Arthur on tonight, and we want to really talk about storage units and stuff like that. So we're going to get these questions here, hopefully the next couple of days. Let's get to this part right now, Tyler. Well, I'll start. I mean, something you sold like recently, or maybe today, right? Something I picked up at the same garage sale, right? The model was this. Answering machine, Sony answering machine, and I said, you know what? And I've got this sick mind where it's like anytime I see Sony, I think money, right? So I bought it. It was like $1. I put it on freaking eBay, and because the reason I put it on eBay is because on Amazon it was like $11 shipped. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess with that. It was used. It wasn't sealed, and it sold like immediately for like $26. I'm like, really? Sony answering machine? I was kind of shocked that somebody's buying an answering machine, but people are buying all types of stuff. So that was my little sale I had here that I thought I'd share that I sold today. Tyler, you got something that you sold today? Something recent?
Yeah, I sold this about 15 minutes ago. Anything like these T-shirts, they're Obey is the brand. I sold it for $15 with $4.50 shipping, and they usually don't last very long in my store. So I find quite a few of them, and they're cool graphics. They're like a skating type shirt brand. They do really well, and I usually pick them up for like $1. So, I mean, that's a quick flip, and like I just sold like 20 minutes ago.
Awesome. It's really awesome. I mean, clothing, I mean, T-shirts, guys, all this stuff sells, right? You just got to know what you're doing. Sometimes you got the patience. Sometimes it's luck. Put the price out there, you get it. Scott, is there something you sold recently, dude? Something that off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's something we were talking about before we got in. It was about when Tyler was talking about the watches.
Mm-hmm.
Actually sold a bunch of these this week, and I sold the last one today. It's these, I don't know if you can see it, but it's the Boba Fett Lego watches.
Nice.
I got them on clearance right after Christmas. I paid $5 a piece for them, and they were selling consistently. But when the summer hit, they started selling like bam, 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 bam. And I just sold 5 over the weekend, and this was the last one. But it just shows like Amazon is just you never know. Just you make these buys, and you send them in, and you price it at your price and wait.
Yeah, right. I mean, you made money off it, right? Well,
yeah.
Maybe there was a reason why it didn't sell immediately. Maybe there was a race to the bottom. I sold. Do you guys remember the Black Series Boba Fett, like the nicer one?
Yeah.
Right. That thing was selling for really good money last year. The bottom kind of tailed out after Christmas, and it's back up on the rise. And I bought a bunch because I'm like, man, it's Boba Fett, dude. I mean, the thing's worth money. And I've got I've probably got 6 hoarded in my garage right now. Because they're going to go for more this Q4, but I sold one for like $59. I was like, hey, cool. I didn't realize I had it over to Amazon, to be honest with you. But I was pretty stoked when I got that sale Sunday. All right, so awesome. So, Mike Nagel, Banhammer in the fact here, dude. What have you sold today or recently, man?
Okay, so it's crazy because everybody knows that Roddy Piper passed away like over the weekend, and I actually had this poster up in my store for a couple years from when I told everybody how I bought that huge lot of posters. So I sold this Roddy Piper poster of him having a sleeper hold on Hogan, and it sold like within an hour of the news of him passing. So, I mean, that's one of my latest sales. Like I said, eBay's been kind of slow for me the last few days, so I mean that's the last real major sale I've had. And you know, like I said, I bought that lot for I think between 35 and 40 bucks for like 200 or 250 posters, and I mean I got 15 bucks shipped for this, and you know I've already made a ton of money on these posters, so. Crazy.
Shame that he just died so young. I mean.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy because to go along with that, I mean, I can show this. I actually bought an autographed Roddy Piper shirt that's certified, and these shirts there are no more in line with this shirt. So I don't think I'm selling this. I've already been given a very generous offer to sell it, and I think I'm going to hold on to it. So.
What do you value that at, dude? Can I give you 200 bucks for it right now?
No. The group I bought it from actually have other like different kinds of shirts, and they just jumped from being $30 a piece before he died. Now they want $350 a piece, and it's not this particular shirt. Nobody has this particular shirt signed, so we're looking in the $500 to $1,000 range possibly, but it's not for sale.
Yeah. I see FT Ideas is in the chat here, and he says, "I love it when one of the autographs that I have die." I mean, you know, I know that sounds crazy, and it's like, oh my God, man, you know, I hope nobody ever dies. But at the same point in time, it's like things skyrocket. I mean, when these celebrities die, it's like that's why I always pick up like anything that's pop culture, celebrity-wise, right? Obviously, I pick up the collectibles that I like, which are, you know, like concerts, memorabilia, stuff like that, but. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, when people pass away, their stock goes up, I guess you say it.
Well,
and,
like, it's crazy because I bought 2 of these shirts, and I gave one to my best friend on his wedding day, and he still has his. And, I mean, I don't think people could offer me any amount of money to sell this because I didn't buy it to sell it once he died. You know, I didn't even have that in my foresight when I went and bought this. But, you know, this is something I'll probably frame. I'll probably mount it in a shadow box or something and frame it because cool. I have the promo picture to go with it. So I think it's going to be a cool piece for my office. Yeah, it's not for sale. So
yeah, I remember as a kid, I grew up in suburbs of Chicago, and I had Walter Payton played soccer with my son. Right, or not my son. My gosh, God, that.
I was just saying what?
No, Walter Payton's son played soccer with my brother, right? And so we'd always see Walter Payton all the time. I mean, it was like no big deal. But I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, it's freaking Walter Payton, right? Just standing there. And I had nothing on me other than a $20 bill. And, you know, I had this $20 bill, and he signed it for me. I was like, oh my gosh, prized possession, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, you know, it's long gone, but it was like, man, I wish I had that, you know? Because, you know, okay, Kim's asking me now. Tell everybody how you lost it. I was going on, like, it was like one of my first dates. You know, I'm looking at my daughter. Right, she's getting ready. Don't ever date anybody, Maddie, please. Anyway, I was going on this date. I promised this girl to go to the movies. My mom drove me over there, and then I realized, I'm like, I have no money. All I had was this $20 bill in my wallet that I left in there because I just literally got the autograph, like, probably a month ago, and I just never took it out, you know? And I opened up my wallet, and I went to pay for these movie tickets with this girl. And I looked at the $20 bill, and I said, oh, my God, it's Walter Payton's autograph. And I turned to the lady with the ticket counter. I said, do I get more for this? She goes, sir, come on. I said, no, seriously. You know? And I remember I cashed it in, and I was like, because I didn't want to feel like an idiot. Back then, there was no ATMs. You couldn't go over to an ATM, right? So I cashed this in for this broad. And, you know, what did I get? Nothing. I mean, got to watch a movie. I don't even know what movie it was, but I lost my $20 Walter Payton. No, the girl never talked to me ever again, Maddie. She only knew what. But anyway, all right. So, Arthur, something you recently sold, and what did you sell it for?
All right. I have it right here. I actually have to pack it up. So I got 10 Mad magazines, 1963 and 1964. I think the guy literally bought it from eBay and ended up in the storage unit. It comes with this silly little book. It's like a penny book on Amazon, but I threw it in the locker. Put it up for $45, free shipping. Had a couple people offering me like below 30. I had a counter offers out, and some guy in Australia just bought it. He paid 77 total with the international ship cost, because I do my own international shipping. Just came and bought it. I mean, I knew I was offering a very fair deal at 45 because they go like $5 to $10 each.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly. I mean, these aren't in great condition. They're just regular. I think I could swear the guy bought them from eBay in the same way, like 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah. Are you? Do you?
And they were just
Arthur,
sitting there.
what-
But
why we got
yeah,
you
I
on
thought
here?
it was interesting.
Yeah. Well, why we got you on here? I mean, like right there. For me, I looked at like if I had that lot, I'd probably just put it on Etsy and sell them individually, right? I know, a lot of my stuff I like to just sell it individually. That's just my game, right? Obviously, if I got some other stuff, I like to bunch it together. Do you find because you're out there and you do? We were talking earlier. You do the thrift. You do the do you do the thrift? Because you're doing garage sales. I know that, right?
So I don't do it full time or anything, but I just like to do it if I can, if it's on the way. I'm also in an area where there's a lot of garage sales, and then I sometimes go to the flea market where I know a lot of the other storage auction sellers are, and I usually try to pick up video games. Just because a lot of them just want to move it; they don't really care.
So like that
But
idea that
most of the volume is storage.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. There was a lag here. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess what I was saying is, what made you decide just to lock that up and let that fly and rip? I mean, was it because you're like, hey, I don't want to take the time and then just sell onesie twosies? I just want it all gone, right?
Yeah. Essentially, it's not. I think it's interesting, but I don't want to. One by one, it's only like $10, $15 item. It just becomes not worth the time and hassle because these I listed myself, and I just wanted to move it. I knew there's value in it, and even if another reseller buys from me, that's fine with me. I do often put up lots on eBay of similar items. I think I found a bunch of wrestling magazines from the 1990s, so I did the same thing with them. It was like 16 of them. I just threw them up as a lot, dealing with some lowball offers. But there's also.
Did I hear wrestling magazines?
Yeah. They're not anything great. They're mixed. 1993. There's one that's 1997. Mostly WCW. I think there's only like one WWF related. But they weren't. I mean, I checked.
I like the WCW ones.
Yeah, you'll find a lot. I don't have them near me, but if you really
I have
want
the
them,
whole
I don't care.
collection that I'm parting out on Amazon.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even want to start doing them by singles. But essentially, like I can't start. You have to specialize. So there's certain things I already focus on, and there's just certain items that I know it's too good to put for my sale because most of the items in my sale I sell for $1 a piece or less. I just blow the stuff out. But it's not worth. It's not my specialty to deal with it on an individual basis, each item and maximize profit. I'd rather just put up a good deal and sell it quick. I mean, these sold within 3 days. So, and that was the plan. Like, something I'll bring up, we have certain people in storage auctions, they go crazy for comic book collections when they find them in the unit. Dealing with comics is a full-time job. If you really want to maximize your money, you're dealing in something like comics or let's say sports cards. A lot of this stuff takes a full-time commitment. It's a full-time job. I don't have. That's not my business model. So if I ever come across comics and I suspect there's something good, I actually call a couple of my guys that they do comics full-time, and I'd rather give them a deal. I think I posted in Facebook where one of the guys that I usually, if I get comics, I try to sell to him and have him make me a deal. Like, he brings me stuff that he sells to me that he just doesn't want to deal with on an individual basis. So it's really more about you have to have a niche. And if you think you can do it all, go for it. But you have to be realistic.
I agree 100%.
It's either that or you're hiring people.
Yeah. All right, Scott. Scott, you want to do the honors and just waking up Tyler really quick? Oh, there he is.
Long day.
Reading an email.
Reading the email or you're dreaming about plush? What's going on? All right. All right, cool. All right, so let's do the final words here because I know we've been pushing an hour and a half. I really appreciate all you guys watching. There's a lot of you guys watching, and appreciate you guys putting up the shenanigans in the chat for sure. You know, there's always something going on over there, and obviously we can't control it. We try to moderate as best as we can, and still at the same time provide some content, some entertainment, some value, so maybe you can take away something here tonight. I definitely think tonight was interesting. Not every day we talk about storage units, and you know, it'd be nice to have Arthur back on for another show about storage units because he does know a lot and he's got some knowledge about it, and it's always good to talk to other resellers for sure. So with that being said, Tyler, let's wake you up here real quick, dude. Let's shake you around, right? Let's get some fireworks going off. Final words, Tyler. What do you got to say for everybody before we catch out tonight here? And
well, I just wanted to say thanks to Arthur for coming on. It was good to get some different insight and different viewpoints from you on the storage auctions. And I'm just happy to be on the show again, and I look forward to what we will cover in the future.
Awesome, for sure. Scott, dude, people in the chat were like, you know, oh my God, let's Scott talk, dude. Let's get some shenanigans. Is there? All right, let me go back. Let me go do this real quick. Tyler, again, thanks for being on. Appreciate it. But are you making videos ever again? If not, just delete your channel. Are you coming back, Tyler? Come on.
Is that what it is?
Video.
Videos or delete my channel?
Yeah, just make a video, dude. Just say, hey, it's me here. You know,
just make I'm back video.
Yeah, just say I'm back.
It's like 5 seconds, and then just
just say I'm back. And then you can be 6 months before you make a video.
I think it got to be at least a minute to show up on Google. So there you go.
What you should do is take video of yourself sleeping and then just put like subtitles and then put that up, and then
like, tonight I went to the thrift store and then the post office. And,
no, but seriously, are you ever coming back to make YouTube videos?
What?
Are you ever coming back to make YouTube videos, or are you just happy over there in Michigan and life's good, and maybe you just don't want to be part of the drama, man? There's a drama club here in freaking YouTube land.
Yeah, there is, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I am. I honestly I don't feel bad that I'm not doing them. I don't know what but I don't know. I like doing this, and this is good for me. So.
Well, again, I appreciate you coming on here for sure. You know, there's certain people that like to tell us that we have to. The people that I have on my show and the people that are part of Resellers Roundtable. You know, there were some people that said that I pretty much can't. We can't associate with these people because they need to give out all their credentials, and you know, the credentials for me at this point is the guys on the show here. They give out information, and that's what it is. If people don't like it, I don't care. You know, and you have a fun time here for sure. Scott, dude, all right, so is there going to be a shenanigans video, dude? I know I said this twice. But.
I know, man. I had one ready, and then I rendered it, and I was watching it, and it just didn't flow right. It looked stupid. So I am working on one. But my kids go back to school next Tuesday, so I have a lot more free time. Like when I was making all those videos, that was me home alone. So I have way more free time with them back in school next week. But yeah, I plan on pumping out some more. You know, I don't have to like cook lunch and break up fights and all kind of stuff in the middle of the day while I'm trying to list inventory.
Send back stupid eBay purchases because the people lie about it.
Yeah, I have a lot more free time when they go back to school next week.
For sure, dude. Again, awesome, Scott, for you being on. Nago, what do you got to say, dude? I mean, is there going to be a hammer time tonight, or is it just freaking...
You know what? I was working on a rant for the end of the show, but then I decided to write a novel about something completely different, and I'm going to go on my YouTube and read it word for word later tonight, so stay tuned.
All right. I'm looking forward to that.
Man, you know, I'm a really laid-back guy, and, you know, if you push my buttons, I'm going to push back. You know, if you're friends with me on my personal page, you can see the kind of shit people are trying to start with me, coming to my doorstep with this drama bullshit, and I'm going to push back. And, you know, people want to unfriend me or block me or do stupid shit. That's on them. That's cool. I have never once unfriended or blocked anybody because they didn't like who I was. They unfriended me because they could not handle the truth. And the truth is,
You can't handle
it's not
the
high.
truth.
It's not high school, guys. I mean, if you're gonna bring shit to my doorstep, I'm gonna push back. I don't shy away from confrontation. You want to call me out on my personal page? I'm gonna fucking give it to you because that's bullshit. My friends and my family don't need to see this shit and this drama.
Yeah.
And you don't comment on anything or like any of my posts until, I post something having to do with the show. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Everybody needs a sucker and just needs to calm it down, right? So,
Please.
all right, yeah, I mean, for real. We all know Mike's real, right? Mike's passionate, right? But at the end of the day, yeah, there's some stuff, guys, that goes on behind the scenes.
I mean,
but let's not destroy this here. Let's just give people let's just be cool about it, right? We're just staying here. Remember, we got Arthur on the show, and Arthur's probably going, hey, man, I could have probably been this other show, and they don't talk like this. But no, Arthur, I super appreciate you being here, man. I mean, this was awesome to have you. I think it's been months. We've been talking back and forth, and it's really exciting to have you here. And I think, I like talking to other resellers. I like talking to especially with what you're doing, Arthur. I mean, you're in the middle of New York and the hustle bustle, and you're making a living, crushing it. You're hustling, you're freaking making things happen. That's just respectable for me. So again, I'm going to throw the last word to you here, Arthur, before we end it. Say anything you want to say, Arthur, man. It's up to you at this point.
I just wanted to say I wanted to do this as a way to give back because watching your videos, Mike, and then watching all of you guys doing the show, and I joined the Facebook group, is that even as I thought I gained a lot of experience really quick because I do deal with volume, but I was picking up a lot of info, whether it was just adding sniping or just seeing how people are learning about all the things. So I really just wanted to give back as an appreciation to whoever values the information. I'm thinking about doing storage auctions, so hopefully I can help them make the decision, educate them how to make the best approach. Maybe I wouldn't mind coming back on another show. Maybe people collect more of a set of questions. I can kind of give more details because there's probably other things I wanted to talk about in terms about the business, but we're obviously short on time. But that's really it. I mean, I just believe since I didn't have to spend any money, and I gained so much information already that I totally didn't expect, that I felt the best way is to give back as much as possible. So if it helps you guys, it helps any of the people listening or watching the video, it's the right thing to do. There's no reason to be I'm afraid to share any information. Everybody's our competition. But I do this business and I see opportunities every month where there is opportunity. I think there's more opportunity than people are taking advantage of it.
Good.
We just sometimes we spend, but they're out there. You have to kind of think outside the box, but it's out there because at the end of the day, it's work. So you got to be able to put in the work.
Yeah, you got to go out there and work. I made a Periscope earlier and I got cut off because my phone died. But just a little recap of what I was talking about was that I'm getting close to 40, so time is of the essence. You got to go out there and just make it happen. You got to go out there, live your life, and use time management. Use these skills to see, to make a better life, right? I mean, we all want to have a better life, and I think we all work hard at doing that. And believe it or not, this show and my YouTube channel and everybody else's YouTube channel out there motivates people, and the Facebook group, I mean, it motivates me. I see people posting all the time. I'm like, I might be down and depressed or something, or I'll be sitting in a corner or something, and I'll be like, oh, cool. You get back up, and that's what it's all about, and that's what the community is about. It's just that, we're here to help, and we're here to answer questions, and this is that, and with this show we have here, this new show, we're trying to bring other people involved into it, so other people hear from different people that are not wanting to be YouTube famous or this is that. I've set my agenda since a while ago, and you guys can listen to that for sure. But all right, guys, really appreciate all you guys watching tonight. Again, super shout out to Arthur for coming on. I really appreciate it, brother. To Mike Nagel, Scott, Tyler, again. Tyler's awake now. It's for everybody that's watching. He is awake.
Make sure you thumbs up the video if you like it.
If you do like the video, thumb it up for sure. Really appreciate you guys' support here. A lot of you guys watching here tonight. And we're going to catch you guys here probably a little later this week. If you're in the Resellers Roundtable group, probably expect some little link here in 20 minutes. and we will have a little after show. So again, appreciate it. Comment, like, subscribe. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Later.